Welcome to McKinley Live, real people, real stories. Today we have in the studio Mandi Ramirez, our principal of our Canyon View School. Mandi, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. The topic, as you know, is diversity and inclusion. And one of the things that I would love for you to share with our audience is tell us a little bit about your journey here at McKinley. How long have you been with us?
I have been at McKinley now. I think I'm in my 4th year. I started out with the MSA program and took a hiatus and went into being a contractor with the IT department for a small period of time. And then I came back into administration for the school.
Awesome. Now, I know that what you do is not easy, the work of the students that we work with and just the challenges, especially during COVID. But I'd like to ask you, what is it that inspires you to continue and to press forward in your work?
There is always a need that needs to be filled. And for myself personally, I am a servant leader. I lead by service and I'm a giver. So as long as there is a need to be filled or fulfilled, I will find a way to do it. Whether it is a child, a employee, a family member, a colleague, there's always a need. And we are gifted to serve those needs.
So powerful. I love it. With the subject of diversity and inclusion, let's talk a little bit about, even since you started and where we are today, how have you seen that this topic and this focus really has come forth? And give us a little bit of, your own view and how you see this really benefiting us here at McKinley.
Well, it's a conversation that we are introducing to the culture and the community of McKinley. And that's a great first step. It's a conversation and an awareness. I think we are attempting to begin the conversation with an open lens and a transparency of awareness, which is incredibly important for everybody. And what it can do for people is create an awareness that they matter and the value is greater for who we are as people and where our backgrounds are from than our job performance. And that's incredibly important to me.
I love that. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about how has diversity and inclusion affected your personal life and why is this so important to you as an individual, especially as a leader?
Well, I recognized in this process of preparing for this, I recognized that I became aware of my identity as a mixed identity, Mexican American young woman when I was in 6th grade. I dropped off my belongings at home one day after school, and the girls that were walking home with me that day, we went into my mom's home and exchanged my belongings. And on our way out across the grass, one of the girls said, I didn't know your mom was white. And I looked and I said, she is? And they said, yeah. Mind you, they were blonde-haired, blue-eyed children, and my mom was blonde-haired and blue-eyed, Irish, German, American. I didn't know race at that time. I went home that evening and I asked my mom about it. Hey, Mom, are you white? And her reaction was very shocking. Yeah, what did you think I was? My mom was very cultured. She spoke Spanish. She cooked traditional Hispanic foods. She was very, very much identified in the Chicana culture. And I had no idea that she was any different. So it's that little moment of my life is one that I identify with. It was where I realized that there is a diversity amongst us.
That's so powerful. That's amazing. Where did you grow up? Just curious.
Right here in Montclair.
Okay, so you're a local.
I am.
I love it. Now, throughout your career path, would you be willing to share with us, how have you seen differences from other places that you've worked at and then now here at McKinley? And how has diversity and inclusion differed in those two comparatives?
Well, actually, I think there's a little bit more of a similarity initially. I traditionally, or not traditionally, but back in the day, I taught in Soledad. And Soledad is a migrant farm labor community. Its population is 90% of the Hispanic culture. But the teaching population did not reflect the student population. There was no reflection. And so I remember feeling like I needed to be an identifying factor for those students. As a young Hispanic female, I needed to give them something to work towards. And I saw that same thing when I came to McKinley as well. Our not just our teaching population, but our community of leaders here doesn't always reflect our clients that we serve. And we are doing a better job of matching that reflection. And
That's important.
it's very important. And one of the things that we must do is we must always be a reflection of what we desire. How we expect to see others, we have to be that same reflection in them.
Absolutely. And the students, when they see a person of color, or someone similar to them, they can aspire to say, well, if they could be a teacher, then I can be a teacher one day as well.
Absolutely.
I love that. Thank you, Mandi. Now, as a result of the efforts of development and what we've been doing, we've seen that our community has really come alongside us during this time. And a lot of what we've done is benefited the students, both at CVS and DVS, through Chromebooks and the cameras and lots of the equipment and the software that we've been able to secure. Would you be willing to take a moment and just express a message of gratitude to our audience? We have donors and the community watching us today. Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, absolutely. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving the students an opportunity and an identity to be equal with a place they didn't come from. They didn't come from a place of equality prior to the pandemic. And some of their opportunities were limited given what they were facing in other areas of their life. So I genuinely and truly thank you for recognizing a need and filling it as we do every day in our classrooms and in our offices. It is never going to go without notice, the opportunities that the students have been given.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mandi. Now, as we begin to wrap, I know Mandi's got a very full schedule, and I do really thank you for carving time to be with us. I do want to just mention, we are beginning new projects where we're going to have an art class and some other ideas that we've got for the school and for various programs. If something has been said, something that's piqued your interest today, and you'd like to learn more about McKinley, maybe you'd like to volunteer or maybe just come and meet with our leadership and find ways to be a part of what we're doing. Lives are being impacted. The students that Mandi is serving, they're the next generation. So if you'd like to be a part, come and visit our website to begin, www.mckinleycc.org. Thank you again for joining us. Until next time.